Okay, Bank of Canada announcement. No change. Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem, in his announcement, indicates there will be no change at all in the Bank of Canada rate at this time. Now, it's kind of interesting because I'm putting this out at 7:45 in the morning, and the Bank of Canada doesn't actually have an announcement for another 2 hours. Yeah, exactly. That's how damn sure I am of what's going to happen today. There will be no increase. There will be no cut. It will be just exactly the same. So why so sure? Well, first of all, even the marketplace itself is a 97% chance of stay the same, 3% chance of any kind of a cut. There's zero about an increase. So there we go. But why? Why is it just so absolutely certain this time around? Well, the answer is that he doesn't have to do anything. That's the truth. And there's no reason to do anything, although there could be a reason to do something, but there's no pressure on him to make a move. Let me break this down. Every Bank of Canada governor is criticized, constantly criticized, endlessly criticized for not moving fast enough, for being late. You'll hear that. I'll hear that 100 times from very smart people, great commentators, wise individuals who'll say, hey, the Bank of Canada was late. The Fed was late. The European Union, the Central Bank in Europe was late. The Japanese were late. You always hear that refrain. Oh, the truth is Japanese haven't changed forever. They're late. They're always late. They don't recognize a deteriorating economy fast enough. They don't cut soon enough. You hear this endlessly. This is a mantra that you are forced to listen to from everybody. And by and large, it's true. It's absolutely true. In most cases, central bankers are late when they are confronted with like hellaciously bad jobs reports and shrinking economies. They're late to react. But I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate. I'm a lucky person. I get to talk to very knowledgeable, very experienced insiders, can we say, about why this fact of late is so prevalent. And I got a great piece of information weeks ago, and it goes something like this. What's the point of being early? Where does a bank governor win any points by being early in a rate cut? How do they get rewarded for saying, haha, I have figured this out and I know the future, economy is headed for the crapper, and I'm going to cut rates now. I'm going to be ahead of the curve. How does a governor, Bank of Canada, any central banker, how does any central banker win from that perspective? Because let's take the example of today. The theoretical neutral range is 3.25 to 2.25, and we're at 2.75. We're right in the middle of the neutral range. Now, sure, if you went down to 2.25, nobody could say that you were treating it like an emergency. You were just making an adjustment. But still, we're dead center of neutral right now, which is neutral. And if there is potential for inflation, and we've seen that some of the internal inflation numbers, the headline's good, but the inside numbers are not so good. Core isn't so good. There's other things that are not looking perfect in the CPI reports. The worry about tariffs, effectively counter tariffs, is what we've got to worry about in Canada. The worry about counter tariffs causing inflation is legitimate. It's hard to figure out right now because who the hell knows from one day to another what the tariffs are going to end up being, whether the deal gets signed, doesn't get signed, 35%, who the hell knows how we are going to end up at this moment in time. But the truth is that it could be inflationary. Like if we have to put on a ton of counter tariffs on all kinds of U.S. goods, we have some going on right now, but not a ton. If we do have to put on counter tariffs, if the government chooses to, it could be inflationary for sure. So with the possibility of inflation lurking in the whole global economy, there's potential for inflation. Why cut? Because that's a danger. But the other real potential is shitty economy, bad unemployment, shrinking GDP, all kinds of bad news is also very real. Very real. So if I know this as a Bank of Canada governor, what's my motivation? Today, because of that kind of bullshit jobs report where all of a sudden there's 70,000 part-time jobs. Who the hell ever heard of that? There's 80,000 jobs and new jobs and $70,000 part-time. Who the hell ever heard of that before? But let's just assume it's sort of a magic 8-ball that can predict things that don't make any sense to anybody else. This incredible StatsCan jobs numbers. But let's just say that eventually the jobs numbers turn ugly. Well, when that happens, if he chooses to, the Bank of Canada governor could cut. So this is what I figured out from listening to people who are much smarter than me. If you're a Bank of Canada governor, you're always going to be blamed for being late. Everybody, and typically you are late. You're behind the times. You're behind events when you finally announce the cut. But do you have any reason not to be late? In other words, if you have a shot at staying neutral, if the 275 is okay to live with, isn't it better to be late than just be totally wrong? Because that's what would happen if you cut early. If the Bank of Governor announced today, I'm cutting, I know the bad economy is on its way, I know there's going to be joblessness, I have to move to protect the Canadian economy, I'm confident that we can control inflation, I'm making a cut. There's no percentage in it for them to do that. None. It makes more sense to wait until every single jobs number is screaming red and that the economy is completely circling the bowl and then start cutting, because always better to be late than to be wrong. And if you wait, you won't be wrong.